Okay, y'all. So here's part two. Truth is gonna be revealed. Thoughts of a rambling mind. So I don't know how many parts this is gonna be because it's a very deep topic, and I've been thinking about it a long time, and I've got a lot of information for you. So I'm not sure how many parts this is gonna be, but I'd like to again preface this video by saying I'm not a racist. I'm merely a truth teller. I'm trying to get knowledge out to the public that has been given to us, but I don't think has been properly digested and understood by the masses. And the powers that be use this knowledge in order to create division. So this video is going to start off where I left off the last one, and it was, how do you create a white person? Well, where do we start with this? Well, we got to go all the way back to the beginning, right? And when we go all the way back to the beginning, we find early man, right? What is early man? Early man, homo this, homo that. When I say homo, I don't mean any sexual preferences. I mean man, homo meaning man, early human, right? Or archaic human, if you guys are looking for something to look up, if you want to fact check the things that I'm saying. Archaic man came in a few forms, okay? Archaic man came in Homo floresiensis. He came in Homo denisova, and he came in Homo neanderthalis, and he came in Homo sapien. See, Homo sapien, that would be human as we know it now. Now, it's very important that you understand that there are people on Earth now. There are some that are 100% Homo sapien, and there are some that are partial Homo sapien and partial some other human form that is not Homo sapien. What we call modern Homo sapien is what we call human. So, anyone that is not Homo sapien is not pure human, right? They're humanoid, human-like, but not human being, right? If you understand, right? So, a Neanderthal is not a human being. It's not a Homo sapien. A Denisovian is not a Homo sapien. And a Floresian is not a Homo sapien. Why do I say this? I say this because early man, all life started in Africa. And it developed unto a point. Now, the timeline of where humans and when humans roamed the earth in those times has been shuffled. And it's been shuffled in a very deceiving way to make you believe that there's a chronological order to when certain species of human were here and when certain species went extinct. That's not true. The reality is that there were many forms of human-like creature on the planet at the same time. Some were here before others, but they didn't just disappear and get replaced by the other, right? They were living at the same time. Homo sapiens, throughout history, let me back up a little bit. Throughout history and the evolution of man, as science says now, whether you believe in scientists or not, that's up to you, that's a different conversation, but we're just gonna argue the science, right? Science says that man evolved from ape in many stages and eventually got to the state that we're in now called Homo sapien. Again, if you believe that, if you don't believe that, that's up to you. That is a different conversation, and I will one day make a video about that, but not today. Okay, so we evolved from apes in many stages until we got to Homo sapien, which is our current state. At that point, Homo sapien left Africa and started wandering the earth through land bridges and ice bridges and things that no longer exist. The lands were connected and we were able to walk from continent to continent, spreading our DNA throughout. On our journey from Africa, the human's journey, let me preface that. Let me make sure I emphasize humans, because Homo sapiens, as we all know, are human beings of today's standard. So humans left Africa and began wandering the earth, continent to continent, and they began running into these human-like or humanoid figures that were close enough in DNA to breed with, but still not the same. They ran into Neanderthal, Floresiensis, and the Denisovians, right? First trip, running into Denisovians. The Denisovians, Lord, 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 help me, forgive me. Okay, let's go. How do you create an African, true black human? There is no creation of a black African, because a black African is original man, Homo sapien. This is fact proven by science. How do you create an Asian? Another fact proven by science. You take an African, you mix them with a Denisovian, and you create an Asian. Now, however it's mixed, this way, that way, you create the Chinese, the Japanese, the Korean, the Indian, the Pakistani, the Afghani. You create all of these people by mixing human and Denisovian. You mix Homo sapien, human, with Homo Denisova in order to create the Asian. Now, I done let a little bit out the bag, so I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. But these are facts that can be looked up. How do you create a Pacific Islander? Well, you mixed Homo sapien, or human, with Homo florensis, which is humanoid, and you get Pacific Islander. So that's Hawaiians, Samoans, anybody from Bikini Islands, and all of those South Pacific islands. Yeah, those would be the Florensius. You mix Homo sapiens with the Florensius, and then you get those people. How do you create white people? Lord. The way to create white people is you mix human, Homo sapien, African man. Those are all one person. Human, Homo sapien, African man are all the same thing. You take that and you mix it with Neanderthal. That is how you create the European. Now, this is a fact. All of these peoples who I've mentioned all have this DNA still in their blood today. Now, through subcultures mixing with each other, there are very, very small percentages of mixing throughout some races that will include some of these other DNAs, but the originals of these people, the whites, the Spanish, not the Spanish, I apologize, the whites, the Pacific Islanders, the Asians, all have this DNA in their blood, all of them. And this is where they came from. Now, the original reason for me coming up with this post is to find my history. But after looking this stuff up and finding all of this history, I thought it was important to make these videos. So this is a touchy subject. All of this stuff is fact. It's race-based, but it's not racism, right? I don't hate anyone. But the reality is for anybody that thinks that racial jokes about black people being monkeys and primitive and all of these other things, there's a reason why they say racism is a product of ignorance, is an example of ignorance. Because if you did a little bit of research, you would find that primitive human is what was needed to make a lot of the other races. Now, that is not an insult to those races, it's just a fact, right? And I think that it's a piece of information that is important. It wouldn't have been important if not for racism, right? It is now important where we come from, the truth of where we come from, because the truth has been hidden and we're being ridiculed, ostracized, and persecuted based on lies, based on things that are not scientifically founded or grounded, okay? So, again, how do you make a white person? You take a human and you mix it with a Neanderthal. All white people are African and Neanderthal. That is a fact. Thoughts of a rambling mind. Hope this video don't get me killed. Wish me luck, y'all. Until next time, part 3 coming soon.